In the meantime, 2023 critically acclaimed Nollywood's first animation movie, Lady Buckit and the Motley Mopsters, is about to get a spin-off series titled Secrets of the Multiverse. According to production notes made available to Entertainment News and Channels Television, the new 13-episode series, which is still in the works, will follow the journey of two lead characters from Lady Buckit and the Motley Mopsters and chronicle their accidental trip into a multiverse. The executive producer, Blessing Amidu, explains more in a Zoom conversation. Here.
So this new series is a spin-off of Lady Buckit and the Motley Mopsters, Nigeria's first feature-length animated movie, which was in cinemas in the year 2020. So this is a 13-episode series. It's about two kids who accidentally find themselves in the multiverse, and then they encounter a life-changing experience that threatens the existence of their world. It's going to be a 3D animation, movie, 4K resolution minimum. So that's what we're doing this time around, and it promises to be exciting. So actually, it explores the reasons behind the actions by leaders, the actions they take, the kind of things they do, and if those actions are justified, or rather if they are unpunishable, especially when taken for the benefit of their people. So that's what this is about, basically. So I think this story is one that is, it doesn't just tell an African story, it tells an African story through a universal lens. It is the vision, I see it as, the vision of, African animation. I would say that, Secrets of the Multiverse is a bold step, towards a broader, vision, into African, futuristic storytelling, one that is coupled with, sci-fi, comic adventure, a mix of speculative fiction and, African cosmology. So I would say that it positions Nigerian animation, or rather African animation, as not just domestically relevant, but globally resonant. So this is the way I see, Secrets of the Multiverse. By just sitting down with my children, spending time with them in front of the TV, getting to know what they like, what they dislike, I've grown to love animation. I've grown to love, cartoons. So just sitting with them, I now realize that Nigeria actually didn't have, a feature-length animated movie. So that's where the story actually began. And the rest is history. It's passion for me, because it's something that I think the industry is quite underdeveloped, and I think we will get to that point where African animation would be the now. It's not just the future. I think it's the now. So we'll get to that point where everybody looks to African animation, Nigerian animation, as the statement for the now. But actually, we're going to see, the lives of, our youth, our teenagers through the lens of these young kids, in the name of Buckit and Tam. So we're going to see how they navigate their world, when they come face to face with challenges that threaten their morality, and they kind of, at that point in time, want to choose, is this the best way to go? This decision that I'm about to take, is it justified for the benefit or the good of others? So that's what this story is about. So everybody is going to be able to see themselves through the lens of these two young kids in our story. Buckit is a young girl, smart kid, she likes science, mathematics, and she's somebody that is, determined. She's a natural born leader, and will go lengths to, teach maybe a lesson, which was rather part of what she did in, Lady Buckit and the Motley Mopsters. So they both, get, come back in this particular sequel, to teach, particular lessons. Like I said, you have to watch it to find out. But these two young kids are an example, of what your I don't want to use the word perfect, example of kids should be like, but there are going to be, some, people to look out for, if you know what I mean.
She clearly said bucket.
Buckit.
Bucky. I'm a girl, and I'm definitely not a bucket.
I think she's delusional.
She's obviously not from around here.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Waiting to my voice.
Finally, someone else confirms it. You sound one kind.
Mind yourself.
You mind yourself.
I'm in a dream. Wake up.
Maybe the universe led you here for a purpose.
You might want to look at AI as being technically smart. An animation, project might take 2 years. But with AI, it might take less and less time and then cost a lot less. However, AI will tend to, kind of, reduce the creativity of humans. I mean, I don't think I would go AI. I would go AI because, as much as possible, you don't get to see the creativity, that we have. It kinds of tends to, it's not something that I would do, and at this point in time, AI is still growing. I hear that even using it for animation at some point in time, you have some of those characters. I mean, on the lighter notes, you have some of those characters with maybe 10 fingers or 6 fingers instead of 5. So AI, on its own is still growing. It's not perfect yet, but using it for this industry right now, I don't think it's proper. I've seen some shots. I've seen some maybe 5 minute videos, animation videos done with AI. Looks good, visually appealing, but a true creative will know that this is not the route to go. It doesn't. It's going to douse our creativity, and it doesn't give people, we're not able to express ourselves. Everything is now computer based or AI based. So, for me, it's not the route to go. Although others may think differently, but this is my opinion at this point in time. And it will take a true creative to recognize, a project, that is created using AI, and then, what would, otherwise than your natural or your traditional, animation projects.